Farthest North describes the most northerly latitude reached by explorers before the conquest of the North Pole rendered the expression obsolete. The northern polar regions are much more accessible than those of the south, as continental land masses extend to higher latitudes and sea voyages to the regions are relatively short. Early voyages. A Dutch expedition led by Willem Barents reached 79 degrees 49' N on 16 June 1596 to register the first recorded farthest north. In 1607 Henry Hudson probably reached Hakluyt's Headland, but could not proceed further as ice lay packed along Spitsbergen's north coast. In 1612 an explorer from Hull, Thomas Marmaduke, claimed to have reached 82 degrees north, while Dutch explorers in 1614 and 1624 claimed to have sailed even further north to 83 degrees north. None of these claims have any basis in fact, with the second claim, made by Joris Carolus, impossible knowing ice conditions that season, although Marmaduke did at least reach Graafhoeken. English whalers reached Svalbard's Noordkap in before 1622, as shown on the Muscovy Company's map. The 7 islands, north of Noordoostlandet, were first marked on a Dutch map of 1663, but were allegedly reached by a ship of Enkhuizen as early as 1618. In 1707 the Dutch whaler Cornelis Cornelis Giles rounded the northernmost point of Noordoostlandet in Svalbard, passing 81 degrees north. In 1806 the Resolution of Whitby, under William Scoresby, Sr., was said to have sailed north of the 7 islands and reached 81 degrees 50' N. 19th century. One of the first expeditions with the explicit purpose of reaching the North Pole was that of William Edward Parry in 1827, who reached 82 degrees 45' N, a record that stood for decades. Albert Hastings Markham, a member of the British Arctic expedition of 1875–76, was the next one to get closer to the pole 48 years later, when he reached a latitude of 83 degrees 20 minutes 26 seconds north by dog sledge. Adolphus Greely's Lady Franklin Bay expedition bested Markham by a few miles, reaching 83 degrees 24' in 1882. In 1895, Norwegians Fridtjof Nansen and Fredrik Hjalmar Johansen reached latitude 86 degrees 14' N. In 1900, Umberto Cagni of the Italian Royal Navy left the base camp established by Luigi Amadeo, Duke of the Abruzzi, and reached latitude 86 degrees 34' on April 25, beating Nansen's 1895 mark by 35 to 40 kilometers. Cook and Parry, 2 American explorers, claimed to reach the North Pole in 1908 and 1909. Cook's claim was soon judged to be fraudulent, and Parry was credited as the discoverer of the North Pole for much of the 20th century. In recent decades, however, Parry's claim has become the subject of controversy, though he did set a new record for farthest north. With Parry's claim accepted at the time, overland expeditions to the North Pole came to an end. Roald Amundsen of Norway redirected his planned Arctic expedition and instead aimed for the South Pole, which he achieved in 1911. Wilkins' Ellsworth expedition. In 1931 an expedition, led by Hubert Wilkins and Lincoln Ellsworth and partly financed by William Randolph Hearst, attempted to reach the North Pole with a leased U.S. Navy submarine named Nautilus. The Nautilus was modified for under-ice operations by submarine designer Simon Lake so it could detect openings in the ice pack and surface to recharge her batteries. While the expedition was a failure, the Nautilus did reach a latitude of 82 degrees north, the farthest north a vessel had ever been. In accordance with the lease agreement, the Nautilus was scuttled after the expedition to prevent her reuse as a warship, Conquest. On 9 May 1926, Richard Evelyn Byrd attempted to fly over the North Pole in an airplane. He was widely credited with achieving this, but his claim subsequently became subject to doubt. Finally, on 12 May 1926, the airship Norge carried Roald Amundsen and 15 other men over the North Pole, en route from Spitsbergen to Alaska, the first achievement at the pole about which there is no controversy. The first man definitely to set foot on the pole was the Russian Alexander Kuznetsov, who landed an aircraft there in 1948. On 3 August 1958, the United States submarine Nautilus was the first to sail under the ice pack to reach the North Pole. On 17 March 1959, the United States submarine Skate became the first submarine to surface at the North Pole. In 1968–69, the British explorer Wally Herbert became the first person to indubitably reach the pole on foot, having sledged from Alaska. His expedition was supported by airdrops.